much happening, like you had mentioned, people being evacuated. It should be happening now. So let's talk about if that does not happen, how much damage are we expecting to see?
Yes, thank you again. So there is the immediate impact, and one of the things that is very visible if we have an intense El Nino, and which maybe the focus has been a lot on, is the displacement of people. But generally at Kenya Red Cross, we estimate that there may be up to 95,000 households that could be affected across the country. These are households that will experience flooding, those that, houses would be brought down completely. So those are some of the effects. But we have other effects like in the health sector. With flooding comes with a lot of health problems. We are likely to have outbreak of waterborne diseases. So these are also some of the things that we are really preparing for. So the impact could be big, but you see, flooding can lead to drowning. So people can drown if you don't take precaution, and drowning happens even where there is no intense flooding. Even just the ordinary flash floods, you're driving your car through a road that has flowing water, and you don't take precaution, you can get to drown. So those are the things that we are looking at initially as being the immediate impact of the El Nino. So we want people to prepare wholesomely to deal with any of such situations.
Yes. And Peter, do you remember the Solai Dam tragedy? In a blink of an eye, hundreds of lives were lost. And so this is one of the direct impact when this happens. But what level of preparedness, not at the national level, but now at the county level? We already know, every county government knows how they will be affected by the floods if they happen. Why the reluctance? What do they need to do?
There is I don't want to, we shouldn't look at it as a reluctance. I think there is a lot of work going on, and you rightfully say it, what is happening at the national level is important. However, there is also what is happening at the county level, but also at the community level. And I think what is most important is what is happening at the community level. Are the communities aware that El Nino is coming? Are they aware that they are in the firing line, so to speak, that they might be affected? Are they sensitized enough on preventive action? Those are the very important questions that we are asking, and we have been working with communities in the Nyanza region, in the northeastern region, even within the areas like West Pokot that are landslide prone, Central Province areas like Muranga, those ones are prone to landslide. So we've been working with them to prepare them for possible evacuation. One of the things that has been a problem in the past, but I really appreciate communities are beginning to understand this, is when you're told to move, you want to wait until it is too late, maybe until you see your floods already happening. So that's when you begin to ask for support. We have said that our communities must now not wait for those moments. Once it starts raining and a serious alarm has been issued, and this will be done on a weekly, daily basis. I think the weathermen are releasing this information on a daily basis, and they are quite actionable information. So that's what that's what is happening, and what needs to continue happening, to be ready at an individual level. If you are in a position that could be harmed, then the time to act is now.
And you asked a question saying that the most important thing is what is happening at the community level. Would you say that there is awareness, the necessary awareness needed among the community members on what to do, for instance, when it happens? If it doesn't happen, well and good, but is there that enough level of awareness among communities?
Well, it's difficult to say that it's enough, because this is ongoing work. It's ongoing work through the various stakeholders, through the media. We are working with national media like yourself, and thank you for giving this platform, because I know I might be able to reach a number of people who need to take action, both at the community and even at the stakeholders level. But this has to continue through whatever platform that we have, to make sure that our communities are prepared, they're sensitized, and they're prepared, and they actually accept the action that they are being advised to take.
Right.
Yeah.
And for purposes of awareness, Peter, let's talk about how El Nino, for instance, is different from the normal rains, because the October season we expected short rains in the country, but now the weatherman says it's going to change. We are going to experience El Nino. So how different is it from the normal rains? And why do we have to experience El Nino? We had one in 1997. You also said 2003, and now it's coming. Is it like something that's predicted should be happening after this amount or number of years, or what exactly causes all this?
That's a question that's a question for the climate experts.
Yeah.
But from the information that we have, El Nino, there is really no direct link today with climate change. Maybe further research will tell us whether there is a direct link with climate change, because El Nino has been happening since time immemorial, based on the changing temperatures in our seas, where most of the rains come from. So they have said that between 3 to 5 years we're likely to experience El Nino phenomenon, but of course the intensity of these will vary from one El Nino to the other. That's why we are saying, even though we have had other episodes after the 1997, but if you talk to most Kenyans who are of adult age in 1997, will tell you that that is the worst they have experienced. Indeed, the infrastructure destruction that occurred in 1997, it took many years to recover from. In terms of the manifestation from and how it differs from usual rain, it is the intensity of the rain. The weathermen will use the terms like above normal or above average, and you see above average is usually what many of us aren't sometimes equipped to handle. Take the case of northern Kenya. That area is a bit sandy, and they have capacity to absorb that water that comes. It is heavy and it is intense, raining over a short period of time. So that's why you have a lot of run of water causing what we call flash floods. Already, for example, in the areas around Lake Victoria, normal rainfall usually comes with a bit of flooding. So if you have any elevated levels of rain, then that complicates matters even more. So that is why El Nino generally is likely to bring more rains on our shores than is normal, and therefore require that we prepare differently.
All right, and I hope, of course, enough is going to be done, because we've seen what is happening in New York, and of course, this is one of the developed countries. So as Kenyans, we are asking, if that's happening in that part of the world, then what really is going to happen here. But now that it's already predicted, finally, as we wind up, maybe in the near future, because it's something that occurs, how best can countries prepare so that we don't really have to invest a lot on response?
So you talked about New York, and of course other developed countries. America has been experiencing the hurricanes and the rest for many years, and that's a phenomenon in that side of the world, the way we have typhoons in the east. And what happens when you go through these things more frequently is that you become aware of them, you prepare well, and therefore you minimize the impact of this. For Kenya, what I can say is that we continue to learn our lessons, and one of the biggest lessons that we have learned from the 1997 and subsequent flooding, we had a lot of very heavy flooding around 2018, almost countrywide. We had the Solai incident, which wasn't rain related, but it was a dam spilling over. So the lessons that we learned, first of all, is how we share information. So information sharing has become very critical in anticipating, in getting ready, and in managing the disasters. We need to share information with the critical stakeholders, first of all with the community itself, and everybody else who is supposed to perform any action. They need to have the right information and actionable information. One of the things that has improved over time is with the way KMD does its weather forecasting, is the way they are able to then share that information with stakeholders. And actionableness, there's probably no word like that in English, but how actionable is the information that they are sharing? Can you actually act on it? Is it precise enough? And with precision we mean, if you give a weather forecast for the whole country, Kenya, then it is not as actionable as in. But when you break it down to specific counties, specific villages, and all that, then people can take the action at that level. So going forward, of course, our message as Kenya Red Cross is to urge preparedness at all levels. If you are in an area that you want to take advantage of the rains to plant some food, please go ahead and plant early. If you need to do water harvesting, you don't want to struggle to get water once this is done, let us do that. Let us worry about the hygiene